Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my final review for Breaking Bad. This one is for the series finale, Breaking Bad, Season 5, Episode 16, Felina. Okay, and as always, my reviews do contain spoilers, so for anyone who has not seen the series finale of Breaking Bad yet, you certainly don't want to watch this because I'm going to spoil it, and this is one of those episodes you do not want spoiled. So there's your warning to anyone. Okay, man. I was excited for it. It was pretty hyped up. We knew it was going to be something special, but man, I think it surpassed even people with the highest expectations. I personally think the overall outcome of the episode, man, it really just took the series of Breaking Bad and it ended it on a high note full of suspense. I mean, the final scene where you have Walt and he's going to meet with Jack and he's going in. Me personally, my heart was just like pounding out of my chest. I was so like, oh my God, what is going to happen? It was just, it was the most exciting moment in any TV series I've ever seen, bar none. The only thing that could probably rival it was Ozymandias, but of course, that was part of the progression through for Walt to the end. Now, we've done a lot of predictions, me as well as all of you guys in the comments and everything, discussing what we thought was going to happen in the finale. Whether or not we thought Walt was going to die, whether or not, how he was going to die. Was it going to be the cancer? Was it going to be Jesse killing him? And I did predict, and I was wrong. I did predict that I thought the most likely outcomes were either he would die of cancer or that Jesse would get retribution and blame him for all the things that have happened and kill him. So it was a really nice twist, at least from my perspective and what I thought was going to happen for me making predictions, that it looked like Jesse was going to do it and then he couldn't do it. He just didn't. And of course, we knew that Walt was wounded from the the big gun battle with the car with the remote mechanism that he created on whatever what was that, a 50 cal or a huge big assault rifle type gun, not assault rifle, but like machine gun. So that was, so we knew, but I mean, it was so fitting, and every loose end was tied up in this episode. This series ended perfectly. This was the perfect. It couldn't be any better than it was. It was a happy ending, which was weird. I've never seen a character like that you die and us as a viewer be happy that character's be happy for them that they're dying. Usually when a character dies in a show, you're like oh man, it's either shocking or it's really sad or anything of the sort. This for me wasn't sad. The moment when you see Walt and he in the reflection and he just kind of falls and you see his face and he just he just lets it go. And it's like he's worked so hard. He's been battling with the cancer. He's been coughing and hacking and everything. You can see even when he's walking around, he has next to no strength left. This is a man that no matter what happens, he's going to die soon. You can just tell from his body language. He knows it. We know it as viewers. And it's like, man, it's just such a happy ending. 52 years old, his birthday. And remember the bacon, that was great too, and just I mean, just such a happy moment to see him just pass out with a smile on his face and just kind of just let it go just like that. So that was such a perfect, touching, fitting ending for Walt. You got to be happy for him. All the loose ends. Lydia was taken care of, and we'll get into that. Jack was taken care of. Jesse, he made it. I didn't. Out of all the characters, I never thought through the series. I heard that he was supposed to die in like season 2. They were planning on killing him, but they decided not to, and they kept him around. Aaron Paul, Jesse the character. so he makes it, and of course Skylar, Marie, and the kids, the family, they're all good. Everything's good with them. Hank didn't make it, and of course we knew from the very beginning Walt wasn't going to. But man, what an absolutely perfect, fitting ending to an amazing series. One of the other things that was a highlight for this episode for me, there was a lot of highlights, but one of the coolest parts was how they tied it in to the previous seasons. The founders of Grey Matter and the way they tied that back in. Those are the type of characters that most viewers will probably have forgotten because they haven't been around for the last, 3 seasons or 2 seasons, or they just haven't been around lately. Bringing them back into the mix, and how Walt is able to convince them to do what he wants, and instead of them going to the police right away as soon as they see him or trying to kill him or whatever. Just really nice tie-ins. The scene playing of Hank, where he's saying, when Walt is standing inside his home, Heisenberg on the wall, and Hank saying, "It's easy money till we catch you." And just man, so much emotion, so many great tiebacks to make this really feel like it's, from beginning to end, like the perfect series, the perfect ending to one of the best written shows I think that's ever been on television, if not the best written. Just amazing. So let's go through it one thing at a time, because I have a lot to say. Lots of things happened. This will probably be a long review, but it's the finale. It's going to be. There's lots of things to talk about. Okay. So from the top, we have Walt. He's in the car. It's freezing, New Hampshire, all that good stuff, and he's boosting a car. He he asks for another minute. It seems like he might get caught from the police lights, and then he finds the keys and is able to basically get the man's back in town. And then we have he calls, or not quite until he gets back in town, but first, of course, he's at the gas station. He calls Susan, was it New York Times, and wants to meet with the founders of Grey Matter, Mr. and Mrs. Was it Schwartz or Shorts? Whatever, I forget. The founders of Grey Matter, the people that screwed him over in the beginning and made that company. So he gets their address, very clever, and then he visits them. That was a really nice twist too, and another great tie-in. Well, first, the knife thing, where if you're going to want to go that way, you're going to need a bigger knife. That was funny too. Their reaction was funny. The way it was shot was funny. The cinematography in this episode was really good. You see the clip where you've got them, they're on the side in the kitchen type area, and then he's just standing there looking at the pictures, and they don't know, and then she turns around and sees him. Just brilliantly shot. I really liked the choice of angles for that. And then, of course, after he basically instructs them that they're going to be giving the money to Walt Jr., and if they don't go along with what he wants, then he'll have the 2 best hitmen in town take him out. Great choice of hitmen. So you see the laser sights and everything. That was all great. I enjoyed every part of that. Really nice tie-in. And then another tie-in when he gets back in the car and you see it's Badger and Skinny Pete. And they're like, they have no idea what's going on. They're just laser pointers. They have no clue what they just did or what's happening or anything. And then he gives them the money. Of course, that makes them feel better. Then he finds out that Crystal Blue Persuasion is still on the streets. So he's like thinking it's got to be Jesse, right? And so that allows him to add to his plan about possibly trying to save Jesse rather than just blowing the whole damn place sky high, which is something he's done in the past before and possibly something he may have considered. But that was a really nice tie-in to see Badger and Skinny Pete. Just coming back into the show for something, because those are 2 characters that are really funny and just a lot of fun earlier on in the show, and we haven't seen a whole lot from them again for the last little while. So another nice tie-in back to earlier seasons. So that was really cool. I enjoyed all of that. Really smart. Didn't see that coming, and as it was happening was like, oh, what's going to happen? Very not really being able to read what would happen next. Very clever there. Let's see. Okay, so he left his watch there at the gas station. I don't exactly know why he did that. I'm not sure. I have to think that one through a little bit more. Now, granted, I've only seen it once and I'm doing the review right away, so I haven't had time to reflect on a lot of these things. So there's going to be things I miss because it's so dense, right? I'd have to watch it a second time probably to get even more detail out of it. So that was all good. I enjoyed all of that stuff, and then basically we skip to, let's see, There's Jesse's building something like a wooden box or whatever. Flashback from him, because didn't he love woodworking before? And then of course he realizes he's just daydreaming that he's still in the meth lab, still cooking for Todd. By the way, we'll get to that special moment between Jesse and Todd afterwards. I'll give my thoughts on that later. So that was all good stuff. We find out Walt is basically 52. It's his birthday, the bacon, the flashback scene, getting the rice in, the gun in the trunk that we saw out of chronological order before, which was really clever now that we kind of see that. It's a cool feeling to have all that mystery of what's happening with that, where is that going to be used, and then just to have it kind of shown to us really quickly in this episode of where that takes place. Because we've always wondered, hey, when did that happen and when did that take place? Okay, so from there we go right to the meeting between Lydia and Todd. Now this was great because you see the meeting, and at first, when I first looked at the again, great cinematography, when I first looked at the scene, I didn't see Walt sitting there. And then you see the two sit down, and then you see some movement in front. It's like, Walt's... And then he walks up and he kind of acts like nothing's big, and then he grabs a chair and he puts it down and he sits down with him. Now, that moment right there was just like a holy shit moment. What's going to happen again? Tons of suspense, and them being like they've seen a ghost. What the hell? Like, what is happening here? What is going on? And then they kind of, they focus on the pack. The, what was it? The sugar or whatever it was, or sweetener that she always puts in her chamomile tea. And then that was just really brilliant because it's like, yeah, Lydia is such a tight ass, and he knows that her schedule is going to be probably the same. What she drinks is going to be the same, and the sweetener is probably going to be the same. So at the beginning, when they were focusing on it and stuff, I was like, I kind of wasn't getting it right away because we knew he picked up the ricin, but we didn't know what he did with it. Right, and then after a minute, when she dropped it in, you could see the white go down into the tea. I was like, oh man, he just fucking set her up, man. That was sick. That was so slick that even us as viewers, a lot of people, I guarantee you now, a lot of people probably would have missed that right then and there, and then later would have had to realize it. But I did catch it, of course, because I know Walt and his style and what he does and how he's so meticulous, and obviously the ricin had to come into play somehow. But I never imagined it would have been that, and it makes perfect sense. It's well set up because like every time they meet, she does the same thing. She asks for the chamomile tea. She uses the sweetener. It just freaking amazing writing, just brilliant, to think of that for Heisenberg to do that. And also it's funny because it's like what's he doing there? Like, what's his angle? He's talking about possibly getting back in the meth business. He sets up a meeting with Todd maybe, and it's like, but obviously he doesn't want to. So what's his angle? What's he doing? And of course, his master plan, seeing all the elements to his master plan, just brilliant. So we'll come back to that after in the moment. We'll stay in chronological order here. And then going on from there, let's see. So after that, we cut to, I believe it is Marie, and she's warning Skylar. Again, amazing cinematography. After they get off the phone, it moves over, and you can see that Walt is standing there behind the part that we can't see behind the wall. Just so well, just brilliant, man. So well done. And the conversation that he has with Skylar, it's touching. He gives her a bargaining chip, so to speak, with so that she can make it easier for the prosecution and everything with the bodies and all that, the coordinates. So she has that now, helping her out yet again. And him saying that he did it for himself because he liked it and he was good at it. I think in the beginning when he started out, and he did feel alive. Now I think that that is true. I think after a little while, but I don't see that as entirely 100% true. I mean, I think that his family and his knowing that he was going to die, and the fact that he really wasn't going to leave his family with shit, and they were going to be screwed. I tend to think that as a man, he did do it for his family, but he also did it for his own sense of pride, because no man wants to fail at that task. The number one task for a man, just like Gus Fring has said it before, is what does a man do, Walter? A man provides, right? So if you're going to die or whatever, what are you going to leave your family with? How are you going to provide for them, knowing that you're dying, knowing that they basically have nothing, and that they're going to be screwed without you? That's like failing at the most important task in a man's life, for a man, at least according to Gus Fring and his philosophy, and also I believe as a result to Walter. So I agree with that to a degree, but kind of halfway. It's not. It was He did it for himself afterwards, but I think he did it for his family too. His family was in his mind all the way through, all along. I believe that. Anyway, at least at the beginning, and then maybe the part where he's warning the guys to stay out of his territory. I think it's in season 3, I believe. The song that plays. One of the lyrics in one of the theme songs there, where he threatens those guys out front of that store. If you guys remember that, he says to them, or the song that's playing says, "This is beginning to feel like the dog wants a bone." You can find the song on YouTube. Somebody in the comments, please write the name of the song, and others thumb it up so people can see what I'm referring to. If not, I'll do it later. I just have to look it up, and because I forget exactly which song it is. But anyway, lyrics of the song, of course, "This is beginning to feel like the dog wants a bone." Initially, I think he did it for his family, but then as we started to get through to that point, when he had some money, and then they could have been okay, but he kept doing it anyway, then he was doing it for himself. And I'd have to say that is very true. And that's my logic to go along with that. So anyway, brilliant stuff. And by the way, that's a great scene too, where he threatens those guys. I love it. "Stay out of my territory," that one. Okay, so moving right along, that was all good. I enjoyed that very much. So he gets to see Skylar, he gets to see Holly, and then he sees Walt Jr., even though Walt Jr. doesn't see him. Touching moments. Very, very touching moments, especially when it's like the calm before the storm. Let's see, am I missing anything? No. Then we go to the war. So the war, basically, he preps all this stuff, and he's ready to go, and he rolls up that night, and they basically let him in and are gonna kill him. So he's got his control, his remote control, using his car stuff. It's all hidden. He doesn't have anything on him, really, just that. His big machine gun in the car with the mechanical device. He points it just in the right spot towards it, and goes inside. So then, okay, so I just want to make sure that I cover pretty much everything here, because if I don't, people are gonna comment the hell out of me saying, "You missed this, you missed that." I'm still gonna miss things anyway. There's no way I can possibly cover every single little thing. Or they'll insult me. "Trev, you're stupid. You missed this and that and whatever." It happens every video I do, probably. Okay, so all right, let's see. So then we go to that part. Now here's where, for me personally, my heart was just pounding out of my chest. It was so thrilling. I just was like, "Oh my God, what is going to happen?" Because we spend so much time with these characters over the seasons. You feel more attached to the characters in the show than you would just a character in a movie. In a movie, yes, you can feel attached to characters too, but we spent 5 seasons, with Walt, so it's, emotionally, you do feel attached to the characters in the show, and that's why I think it was so freaking exciting to see him, walk in there and everything that happens. So they let him in. Jack comes out. Jack basically says that's it. They're gonna kill him. Essentially, they point the gun, and then he talks about Jesse, and he calls him his partner. Now, of course, he knows that Jack, as a leader of his group and the type of man that he is, hard guy, his pride will not allow for Walt to say something like that to him without showing him that he is not on the same level. Partners is like insinuating that you're on the same level as the partner. So he wants to show him that he's basically his lab rat, essentially. Hey, that's a good pun, lab rat. Yeah, it's not funny, but it's a nice double meaning there. So Jesse comes out, and that's when it's like, they see each other, and he grabs the device, and then he puts on a good show and tackles him down and turns on the machine gun. Now this is when it's like jaw drops to the floor. At least for me, I'm watching this and I'm like, wow. And the 50 cal or machine gun, whatever model it was, just just destroys everything on the level, and the other guys don't expect it, so they're standing there, and before they can react, they all get completely lit up. Walt does too, I believe, where he gets, he gets hit at least once, or part of it grazes through, or whatever the case may be, and he's weak anyway, so he can't handle it. So then, probably my favorite part of all of this, surprisingly, was not actually Walt killing Jack. That was great too, but it was Jesse who got revenge on Todd when he took those shackles he had and he choked him to death with it. That for me was like, yes! I know that's sick, but after what Todd's done to him, killing his girlfriend Andrea and everything, torturing him like that, beating him up his face and everything, wow, man, that was such an emotional moment, and that was so amazing when Jesse got that kill on Todd. It was just, oh man, it was so great. And then of course, Jack trying to, it's funny how that switches, now you've got Walt and he's standing over Jack and he's deciding what he's going to do, and then before Jack can even finish, he knows he's wounded, so he doesn't have much time, so he pulls it on him, kills him, that's it, end of story, done. Brilliant as well too. And then probably from here on out, this is the best part of I think of any episode I've ever seen of a TV series. Yeah, this is the greatest right here. So right here at the end, when we have Jesse and he's standing there and Walt, and they're looking at each other, and Walt slides the gun, he takes the gun, and then Jesse makes him say, this is what you want, it's not what I want. So he refuses to do it, and then he walks off, and then Walt kind of walks out and knows he's shot, so he knows it's over anyway. And he's basically just got a few minutes left, and the best part, probably the entire thing, is when they look at each other and they kind of like half smile at each other, and it really sends you back to like early on in the show when they kind of were successful, and they kind of look at each other and they just kind of give each other like a half smile. That was one of the most touching moments I've ever seen. Now those two are partners, I would say. Just, oh man, so good. Such a good scene right there when they smile at each other. Okay, so then there's that, and basically Jesse drives off with his crazy laugh. That was great. I laughed really hard when I saw that, and then mixed emotions from him. He's pretty messed up at this point. He's laughing, he's angry, he's all over the place. And then Walt, and you're just sitting there watching, he's walking through the lab, he sees it, and then he just passes out and dies with a smile, and then the cops come through, and that's it. So, wow. So to give it a score, this one for me is a perfect episode. It not only is it a 10 out of 10 for perfect, but it's so good that it makes the entire series better. It's one of those that it's so perfect. It's such a fitting end that it ties back the series to earlier moments, to things that we've seen in the past before that sort of make it all feel like it's all one big long movie, or one singular thing that you're experiencing, one singular show, everything feels like it's well put together, well tied together, and that if you were to watch it all over again, you'd see things as we go along, and characters like Skinny Pete and Badger that at the end tie back in, like the gray matter, people that screwed Walt over tie back in, and just so many great things about Jesse and Walt looking at each other, how things have changed for them, but yet at the same time, they got through it together. And then just like from the beginning, we knew the cancer was a death sentence, Walt had a death sentence. It really came down to what was he going to do with his own life, what were the choices he was going to make, and what did he want to do before his time was up. And that probably overall, I think, is the number one message of the entire series, is that really it comes down to, for all of us in our lives, how we want to spend our time. And when a person is really achieving or doing things like that, at least for me, that's when they feel alive. People feel alive when they're doing something they're good at, that they enjoy, that that's getting them somewhere, and is just man, such a fitting ending to the series. So, well, at least for me, that's one of them. The choices that he made, and how they all came full circle, and how in the end too, he really did get everything he would have wanted, and how it was, even though a character death, a happy ending at the same time. So I think that's pretty much all I want to say about the episode. Like I said, there's guaranteed to be things that I haven't mentioned in this review, but the review's damn close to 30, like 25 minutes long, at least by my clock anyway at the moment. So I'll do a review, I think, of the series as a whole, season by season, talk about some of the best moments, I think. And if you guys have any other suggestions for any Breaking Bad videos, now that it's all over, now that it's finished, please feel free to send them to me in a private message or in the comments below. Thumb them up if you guys see video suggestions that you would like to see made into videos from me. And for basically the last time for an episode review of Breaking Bad, I'm going to miss it. It was such an amazing show. Really going to miss it. But definitely the ending of it was not disappointing. And it's one of the greatest TV series ever. I don't care what anybody says. For the last time, with regards to my Breaking Bad episode reviews, the final time, I'll say that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, and I'm saying peace.